In this lesson, we will learn about connective tissue. What are connective tissues? Connective tissues are tissues that connect the different parts of the body. The different types of connective tissues are: one is blood, which flows to different parts of the body and hence connects the various parts of the body. Then we have the tendon here, and you can see in this figure the tendon connects the muscles to the bone. Here, see the muscle to the bone. It connects the muscle to the bone, so it's also a connective tissue. Then we have the ligament, which is another kind of connective tissue. So a ligament also is a type of connective tissue that connects between two bones, and you can see here there are two bones and they are connected by the ligament. So this is a ligament. And the other connective tissues are the bone, which you're very familiar with, and the cartilage. We will learn more in detail about the cartilage and the bone. So all these are different kinds of connective tissue. Now if you see the connective tissue, the general characteristics of a connective tissue, it's made up of this intracellular matrix, and inside this intracellular matrix are loosely placed cells. Maybe blood, maybe bone, cartilage, all of them have this intercellular matrix, and in this intercellular matrix are loosely spaced cells. The matrix could be a fluid, it could be hard, or it could be a jelly-like. The nature of the matrix will depend on the function of the connective tissue. Of the connective tissue, the matrix are of different types. In the blood, the matrix is a fluid. When it comes to a bone, the matrix is very hard because the bone helps to support the body. When it comes to the ligament and tendon, the matrix is quite elastic because it helps in movement. So the matrix, the type of matrix, will depend on the function carried on by the connective tissue. So type of matrix depends on function of the connective tissue. Like I repeat again, we said in the blood the matrix was fluid because the function of the blood was to flow and connect the different parts of the body. When it came to tendon and ligaments, the matrix was very elastic because it helps in bending and in movement. When it comes to bone, the matrix is hard because the bone helps to support the body. Let's go in detail, a little more in detail in the structure of the blood. So like all other connective tissue, blood is made up of a matrix which is called plasma, and it is made up of different kinds of cells. The matrix in blood is called plasma, and it is a liquid part of the blood. And the cells of the blood are of many kinds. You have the WBCs, which are called the white blood cells. Then you have the platelets. Then you have the RBCs, which are the red blood cells. And many other different kinds of cells. You can see in the picture here, we have the basophils, the lymphocytes, the monocytes. We have the platelets here, eosinophils, the red blood cells, the neutrophils. So these are different cells that are present in the blood. Now the plasma is the liquid part of the blood, is a liquid matrix, and the plasma contains dissolved food, like it contains proteins, salts, hormones, and other material which are dissolved in this liquid. Let's get on and see the function of blood. Now for the functions of blood, the main function of blood is transportation. It transports gases, digested food, hormones, waste material to the different parts of the body. The other function, it helps to regulate the body temperature. It keeps the body temperature same throughout the body, and then to fight infections. The WBCs which are present in the blood and many other components of the blood help to fight infections. Remember, blood is a connective tissue. It is a kind of a connective tissue that connects the different parts of the body. It is basically made up of two parts, the matrix, which is the plasma, and the cells. The matrix plasma contains proteins, salts, hormones, and the different kinds of cells present in the blood are the white blood cells, the platelets, the red blood cells, and other cells too. And we also saw the function of the blood. Now we get on to bone, which is also a connective tissue. Bone is another example of connective tissue. It forms a framework that supports the body. Our main skeleton is made up of bone, and the function of the skeleton is to support the body. It also anchors the muscles and supports the main organs of the body. All the muscles are attached to the bone. Now we'll go and learn the functions of the bone. The main function of the bone is protection. In the first case, it supports the framework, it forms the framework and supports the body. It also anchors the muscles of the body. If you see in this picture here, all the muscles of the body are attached to the bone. It acts like an anchor where the muscles get attached to the skeleton. It also protects the different organs, like you in the first picture here we see the brain is protected by the skull. The skull protects the brain. The skull is made up of bone. Here in this next picture we have the rib cage, which protects the heart. We have the lungs. The rib cage, it protects the lungs. Then here we have the spinal cord, which is protected by a backbone. So it does an important function of protecting the important organs of our body. The point that we need to remember is the matrix of the bone is made up of calcium and phosphorus compounds. The matrix is hard, it is non-flexible, and is made up of calcium and phosphorus compounds. Cartilage is another kind of connective tissue. The cells in the cartilage are widely spaced, and the matrix of this matrix of the cartilage is made up of protein and sugar. We need to remember these points, that the matrix of the cartilage is made up of protein and sugar. And these are the cells of the cartilage. And these cells of the cartilage, the cells, they are called the chondrocytes. So we have the entire matrix in which the cells of the chondrocytes are present. Now we'll see where is the cartilage, where do we find the cartilage in our body. The cartilage smoothens the bone surfaces at the joints. Now here you can see the cartilage. Here this is the bone, and here is another bone. They're joined together, and at the ends of the bone, this is the cartilage. It smoothens the bones, the ends of the bones, so that when the bones rub, they don't hurt us. Like in the next picture, you can see here is the cartilage at the end of the bone, and in the next picture, there is a damaged cartilage here. The cartilage is got worn out and it has got damaged. Now this person who's got a damaged cartilage will get hurt. He'll get pain when he begins to walk, because the bones will now rub against one another. So one of the functions of the cartilage is to smoothen the bone surfaces at the joint. So here is the function of the cartilage. It smoothens the bone surface at the joint. So it is present at the ends of the joint. And it is also present in the ear. You can see our ear is very flexible, because it is made of cartilage and not of bone. If it was made of bone, it would not be flexible. It is also present at the nose. It is present at the larynx. We have the sound box called the larynx. And it is also present in our windpipe. We have the windpipe here, wherein the air gets into our lungs. And the windpipe is also surrounded by cartilage, is made up of cartilaginous rings. So we can say the cartilage is present in the nose, in the ear, in the trachea. I told you where the trachea, it's a windpipe here through which we breathe and the air gets into our lungs. It is also present in the larynx. The location of the larynx is right here. It's like in men it is more visible. You have like a swelling in the neck region, and that's called the larynx or the sound box, which is also made up of cartilage. So just to recap, cartilage is a connective tissue. The cells are very widely spaced. It's very flexible, unlike the bone, much more flexible than the bone. The matrix is made up of protein and sugar. It is present at the ends of the bone. It smoothens the surface of the bone. We go ahead and learn another two kinds of connective tissue. One is the tendon and the ligament. Let's go ahead and see the difference. In the first picture, we see the picture of a tendon. And what does a tendon do? It connects the muscle. Here we have the muscle, this is, to the bone. The muscle is connected to the bone with the help of a tendon. So this is the tendon that connects the muscle to the bone. Even here, the muscle to the bone is called the tendon. So the tendon connects muscle to bone. Now we go to the ligament. The ligament connects bone to bone. So here we have the bone, and there is another bone here, and they are connected by this ligament. So here is the ligament, and it connects bone to bone. In this picture again, I try to emphasize or show the difference between the ligament and tendon. So here is the tendon, which is connecting to the muscle to the bone, and I will see where's the ligament. Here is the ligament. It is connecting a bone to a bone. This is the bone here, and this is another bone, and they're both connected by the ligament. Now tendon is a fibrous tissue. It's made up of fiber. It also has great flexibility, great strength. Not flexibility, it is very strong. Great strength. It has flexibility, but limited flexibility, not as much as the ligament. So the flexibility is limited. So these are the points you must remember of the tendon. It connects one muscle to bone. It's fibrous tissue, it has great strength and limited flexibility. Now when it comes to ligament, now for ligaments, we have learnt it connects bone to bone. It's very elastic. It's much more elastic than tendon. If you were to compare tendon with ligament, you'll say tendon is less elastic, limited flexibility, but ligament is more elastic and has considerable strength. Tendons are much stronger than ligament. Ligament is not as strong as tendon. Now we learn another two kinds of connective tissue. One is called the areola tissue and we have the adipose tissue. Now the areola tissue is found between the skin and the muscles. The areola tissue is found between the skin and the muscles, around the blood vessels and the nerves, and in the bone marrow. Here is a picture to show you what is the bone marrow. Bone marrow is a soft tissue present inside the bone. When it comes to the adipose, it's found below the skin and between the organs. Now when we go to the function of the areola, it fills the space inside the organs. It supports the internal organs and helps in the repair of tissue. And the areola is also called the packing tissue in animals because it sort of fills all the space between the organs, inside the organs. Now the adipose tissue, its main function is storage of fats. There are a lot of fat globules present here. So the function is storage of fat, and because it helps in the storage of fat, it contains a lot of fat, it acts as an insulator. You can see the adipose tissue present in Arctic animals like the polar bear, the walrus. They all have a thick layer of this adipose tissue in which a large amount of fat is stored, and this keeps the body warm. It acts as an insulator and keeps the body warm.